Oh man, how's it going, everybody? It is Monday again. Oh my goodness. I hope that you're all having a great time. I know I'm having a great time because I'm back here with you all. We're going to be talking about some Star Wars Jedi Survivor tonight. We're going to be talking about a little Mandalorian. But before we get into all that, oh no, we are lagging like crazy. So I hope that it gets fixed by Wes, who has to punch it. Okay, we're going to give it a second, but I will say hello, everyone, and welcome to the Living Force, a UTD Network podcast that is currently slightly lagging. But you know what? We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see if it's ready. For all you audio folks, I am one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and I'm giving it a second. We're going to see how it goes. How we feeling? Okay, it's working. It's working! I believe, as Anakin would say. Hello, everybody! I already did it once, but I'm doing it again. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight to talk all things Mando Season 3 and Jedi Survivor is a full cast of characters, starting off with the man with the second screen on the Miami Heat playoff game. It's Dr. Charles Hankel. What's up, buddy?
What's up, everybody? Jimmy Butler already has 22 points. We just started the second quarter.
What?
Figured you'd all want to know that.
Is that real?
That is real. His name's not Jimmy Butler. It's Himmy Butler. And
Himmy
in
Butler.
Other news,
Himmy Buckets.
Wes, how did you fix the stream that quickly? Did you bypass the compressor?
I don't know. We should ask him
I'm
because
about
the
to
only
shut it down, Charles. I'm about to shut it down.
Wow. See, that's how off the rails we are on this one. Wes put himself on screen without even an intro. I didn't even get to say how gloriously majestic he is. I didn't even get to say how, even though he comes from the dusty planet that no one wants to go to, Texas, he can still be a nobody or a Skywalker. It's Wes Jenkins. Hey, man, how are you?
Hey,
how you feeling?
What's up, everyone? Full disclosure, I changed some stuff this weekend. I changed a lot of stuff this weekend.
Yeah, I'm getting that, Wes.
This is the fruits of my labor. I'm glad it worked out. So, sorry. I will get it fixed. Yeah. Ooh. I mean, I was trying to make it better, and I made it a lot worse. So, just bear with me. I'm ready to talk about Star Wars, though, right? In video games? Star Wars video games.
There's always the audio, guys. There's always the audio.
Well, even though Wes is not embarrassing me in front of the Wizards, he is embarrassing me in front of our next guest, who, yes, everyone, you've asked for it for 200 episodes. We finally got rid of Dr. Corey Helton. He's gone, only to probably return next week. But in his place, we have the one, the only, the dyad in the Force podcast himself. It's Darth Choco. It's Brandon.
Hello?
What's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Been a big fan for a long time, and yeah, appreciate getting on here. I think the stream looks great, and like the graphics and stuff. Like, yeah, I thought
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Oh my gosh. Quickly making your way up the ranks of Wes's favorite people on the show.
And Wes's finger on the mute button relaxed just a little bit.
Just
Listen,
slightly.
I've had to build this type of stuff, and it ain't easy. And
No.
sometimes you make one thing, and like you add a scene, and then like just this random. I don't know, you'll have a bunch of nested scenes, and there's this one little thing where all of a sudden that audio device disconnected, and then you have to like dig through the. It's
Feel my pain.
I just assume that like Wes is like on a cycle, pulling levers and all kinds of stuff just off screen. Like that's what I always figured.
Yeah. Go, smash.
What you're describing is exactly why I actually stopped my podcast, the High Ground podcast, but that's because I was hosting it solo. So that's me wrangling
Oh yeah.
different people every week, and managing all of this stuff. And I was like, well, I'm tired, man.
I like
It's
that
too
name,
much.
though.
Yeah, I don't provide
Yeah.
much. I don't provide much in content. I'm just here to make sure this whole, all the technical stuff is staying straight.
Well, and look pretty. You're also here to look pretty, Wes. Which
Thanks, Eric.
I mean, you did. You do. You've looked better, but you're fine. But you know who looks even prettier? It's all of you. All of you that are watching tonight and listening to us or watching us later on. Welcome to the show. If you're enjoying what we do already with this amazing start to the podcast, go ahead and make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and you know what? If you haven't yet, leave a good old rating on that podcatcher. Have you? Have you? It's okay if you didn't. No shame. We can always start today. But before we go any further, I do want to give our glorious guest, Mr. Darth Choco himself, a chance to kind of tell you kind folks who may have been living under a rock, or haven't been on TikTok like I have for the last couple of years, all the kind of stuff he does. So, Mr. Choco, Mr. Brandon, where might folks know you from? And let me see. I'm gonna ask a good icebreaker question. Where might folks know you from? And at the moment, what's your favorite Star Wars book? Very organic.
Yeah. So you know me. I'm Darth Choco on TikTok, Darth Choco on YouTube. I do a bunch of stuff. I'm a massive fan of Star Wars lore. That's how I found Utini way back in the day. This was the first. There was only 2 podcasts that actually kept up with canon. It was this and Blaster Cannon Pod, and like. I was just so excited as someone who read all the stuff. So when I started on TikTok, that was my goal. I was like, you know what? That community is kind of in shambles, but you can't be toxic if you are actively reading new stuff.
There
I
it
don't think
is.
that's possible.
Hey, good point.
So that was my whole goal, is trying to get people to read and stuff, and then to talk lore and to explain things and correct misconceptions and all that stuff. And it's been a crazy and amazing ride. So I'm super happy with just really cool things that have happened from it. My favorite book, oh my goodness, it's such a hard question because you also have recency bias and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
But honestly,
It's tough. This is the hardest question. I didn't prep you for it either. It's not an outline or anything. It's hard-hitting journalism.
well, because I have like compartmentalized, like
Oh, sure.
it might be the Rising Storm. I absolutely loved that book. And
Excellent.
And it made me God, that book hurt me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It might be Master and Apprentice. It might be
Ooh.
I mean it could be anything Claudia touches, to be quite honest.
Yeah, let's be real. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
That's kind of her favorite. One of them, at least.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Rising Storm. I'm gonna go with Rising Storm.
I love that.
And for anyone who has not yet jumped onto Cataclysm, this book is the Rising Storm of the second phase. Just saying.
Yes.
Hey,
100% agree.
I might agree with where I'm at, sort of.
Mhm.
Oh, Charles.
Your answer was almost
Big
right,
flex.
Brandon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, I'm a big Kenobi guy. That's all.
That is
That's
fair.
fair.
Yeah, Rising Storm. I think about that book every once in a while and remember how after Light of the Jedi, I'm like, y'all, my favorite Star Wars character ever might be Loden Greatstorm. I think I'm just gonna have a good time with this guy. I'm gonna have he's the new Kenobi. He keeps going, and then again, great book, but I've never fully recovered. So
I was on
great
that Bell
choices there.
Zetapart train myself,
Whoa.
and
Dude.
book where there's a part that really punches you in the gut, if you recall, and like, so that book had me going a whole lot.
Dude, Bell Zetapar, aka our king of Phase 3, who is just ready to feast on all the content. I'm assuming when he finds Boryaga safe and sound, chilling somewhere, authors,
You can
We're waiting
still do
for
it. You can still do it.
Rewrites.
Oh,
Uh,
I want to add one last thing. Sorry.
oh, do it, man.
And hopefully I'm not talking. Let me know if I'm talking too much. But
We never tell Eric, so why would we tell you?
on the Legends side, I want to give some love to Legends as well.
Hell yeah.
Jaina Soul is my all-time favorite Star Wars character.
Nice.
But the book Allegiance, vastly underrated, great book. that might be my favorite in the expanded universe.
Fascinating. That's one I have so many Legends books that are great decorations that I'm loving on my shelves that I've never gotten to. And that's one of them, but it looks cool. It just there's so many canon. Again, we have so much great Star Wars that's hard to go back. But I do try. I do try. Also, I want to take a moment here now to say a giant thank you on the Utini side to everyone who tuned in this past week to our first ever Utini-thon, which was our first 24-hour stream put on by our very own Emma Park, who stayed up for not only 24 hours of the stream, but was already up before that for like a 12 hours. I think Emma clocked in like 37 hours awake or something like that. I did like the last 3.5 hours with her, and I was already tired. So massive shout out to Emma. And thank you to everybody. We raised over, I think it was $1,270 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital before the Utini match. So thank you to everybody. We were absolutely looking forward to do more charity streams in the future. Let us know what you might want to see in the future of that. And another quick reminder that the Utini Academy pre-orders, I believe, are still live. If you go over to, oh my gosh, I didn't check the URL before we started. If you go to utini.com/academy, you can go ahead and sign up. We had a bunch of people sign up for that last week to get yourselves ready for the most comprehensive Star Wars literature course in the galaxy that is dropping on May the 4th. I'll go ahead and get the lifetime access over there. Thank you, Wes. The link is in the chat, utini.com/academy. All right, another quick thank you I want to give is to our lovely patrons, Patreon patrons.
Yep.
I'm never going to get it right.
Tronials.
Our patrons, our tequilas, including Tim Costello, who returned as a monthly patron this past week. Thank you so much for supporting everything we do at UTD. And to everyone over there, we hope you're enjoying all of our Patreon exclusive content. I can say this past weekend, Charlie and I recorded an episode of The Ghost Crew. We're banking the rest of season 3, and we'll be releasing those very soon. So thank you to everyone who continues to support us. You're the reason that we get to do this nonsense, and we like this nonsense. But one more thing. Oh my gosh, a lot of announcements this week. If you have a couple bucks left over after you've joined the Academy and after you've become a patron, you can head over to the Utini release calendar because, y'all, tomorrow is the day Star Wars Timelines is finally arriving. That's right, the reference book that we have been very excited for, I talked about last week on the show, and our very own Trevor Davey reviewed on utini.com. You can go get that wherever books are sold tomorrow to get the timeline that, yes, is it technically already out of date? Perhaps. But still very cool. Absolutely. So while you may not have your New Jedi Order or Dawn of the Jedi eras in there, it's still hours upon hours of content. So get that and make sure you pre-order this. Oh God, this angle is terrible. This guy, The High Republic Path of Vengeance by Kevin Scott, which is coming out next week on May 2nd. Be looking forward to our reviews and our interview with Kevin Scott that will all be dropping on May 2nd as well. Before we get into our main show here, Brandon, I want to put you on the spot again. You mentioned it a little bit. I know you were a big fan of Cataclysm. With Path of Vengeance coming out, how have you felt about Phase 2 of the High Republic as a whole? I know if folks are familiar with your content, you do talk a lot of High Republic stuff. Obviously, Rising Storm being your favorite book. How have you felt about Phase 2, and are you ready for it to kind of come to a, I'm sure, very emotionally devastating conclusion?
Yeah, if there's anything the High Republic does, is it continues to hurt us over and over again in the best ways possible.
Absolutely.
Phase 2 has been interesting. I was saying earlier, the first book, Path of Deceit, was kind of a sleeper for me because I didn't really get wrapped up into it until the very end. It felt like Out of the Shadows did that to me in the first phase.
Yeah,
but
great comparison.
Phase 2 overall hasn't given me the same level of hype as Phase 1. It didn't start out with a bang, and it might just be because anytime we come into something with expectations, it changes everything from when we're coming in on the ground floor. It
Preaching
honestly
it.
does.
Yep.
So yeah, I can't tell if it's a quality thing or anything like
Mhm.
that, but overall I am really enjoying it. I loved Cataclysm. I have not started Path of Vengeance just yet, but I'm very excited to, and I think this has a lot of potential to hit those same highs,
Mhm.
um especially the way Cataclysm ends. You're like, oh, that's the through line, gotcha. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly that moment. Yeah, and I think we were talking off air a bit about like, the big question is always, will Path of Vengeance or Phase 2 as a whole prove why we took essentially a year away from our characters of Phase 1? And again, no spoilers here. But that will be part of the review that I write for next week, and will, of course, be part of the conversation. But regardless of your thoughts on Phase 2, any of y'all listening or watching too, I think we can all agree that it's so surreal to know that Phase 3 is coming soon. And freaking friend of the show, loveliest man in the world, George Man, is going to be starting it with the first adult novel, Eye of Darkness. I think that's right, Eye of Darkness. Um, yeah, I'm every time I think about Phase 2, I agree. I'm excited about it. It's a good time. But if you just mention like Belzetifar, Stellan Geos, Avar Chris, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I want to get back. I want to know what they're doing. So very excited to get there. But of course, everyone, make sure you're all caught up by the time we get to Phase 3 later in the year.
So
All right.
Eric, remind me again.
Wes.
How far is Phase 3 from Phase 1? Is it a year?
I believe it's a year. I believe we've been told it's a year, and to bridge that gap, we'll be giving. We're giving every week. We're giving, serving, if you will. See, I am on TikTok, guys. I'm not cool enough. But we are getting From Light and Life, the YA short story anthology, and some of those will be between Phase 2 and 3. So to kind of fill those gaps.
Yes.
I know like Claudia Gray's especially going to take like Leox and Affy and Geode and take them like a day, a week, a month after Phase 1 ends and things like that. So, but I like the year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a good, episode 7, episode 8. Like, this is the next 5 minutes of Star Wars, right? That's fun. But also there was something about going into Empire Strikes Back after A New Hope being like, oh, things have happened. Like it's been a minute,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I love those type of time jumps personally, because
Yeah.
because not every moment can be super interesting. So like,
No.
tell me the interesting parts of the story. I don't know if any of y'all watch Young Justice, but
No, I
that
missed it, but I've heard
show-
it's amazing.
that show, in between the seasons, there would be, I mean, the show got canceled every season, and then the fans would rally and then bring it back like every like 4 or 5 years, and it would have that big of a time jump. And so like you got a new cast of or same cast of characters, but they would be older.
Right.
People may have even died off screen. Like everyone's coming with all this different baggage,
Mhm.
and they have a new problem to tackle while interweaving this in-between story, and it just made it really interesting.
Yeah.
I like having that little bit of separation personally.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, we're gonna be talking about Jedi Survivor here a little bit later. You want to talk about a time jump? We got 5 years going on that one. And I mean, who knows? Did Elzar Mann grow a beard? Will we get fan art of that? Or dare I say official art of that? No, we won't. Come on, it's Elzar Mann. We get one piece of official art and you'll be happy with it, everybody. That's all we're ever gonna get. But yeah, I can't. I hope there's been a lot of stories, and I think that us as Star Wars fans lately are like, we'll fill in this gap. What happens in this gap? And Brennan, I love that idea of some of the gaps aren't as exciting, and that's okay. Sometimes Chancellor So woke up, walked around, didn't have any meetings, and went to bed. I don't need that day. I don't need that in the book.
It was raining. It was cloud. It was gray outside. So she binged Breaking Bad and was like, you know what? I've eaten twice today. It's 6 o'clock. It's already dark outside. I'm gonna
Let's go to bed. Forget it. We've all had those days.
Are you
But
telling
now,
me
unfortunately,
after the Nile like ran off and made their own little portion of the galaxy, like no one was like, all right, guys, let's take a day.
Can we take a second? You know
Right?
what? Yeah. Give them a moment for pity's sake. By nightfall, these hills will be swarming with Nile. Yeah, that'll be very exciting, and I can't. It's weird. It feels like there's already a while till Phase 3, but I also know it's going to be here before we know it. But speaking of things that came and went, honestly, before we even knew it, this past week, Mando Season 3 ended. We have talked a lot about this season here. Brandon, you've talked a lot about go Brandon's YouTube, Darth Choco on YouTube. Check out the TikToks. There's the amount of stuff you cover in a week is amazing. Just with the pure volume of content you put out. And you've talked a lot about the season of Mando. We've been very up and down on here, and I think a lot of folks have kind of found their highs and found their lows with the season. So I just want to go around and ask you guys just kind of how the finale hit as an episode, and then kind of just reflect on the season as a whole, because I think the future of Mando is in a very interesting spot right now, almost more so than it has been after season 1 and 2. So Brandon, as our guest, I'm going to throw it to you first and throw you under the bus, as it were. How did you like the finale, and where did it put you as a fan or watcher thinking about Mando in the future?
What they said for the future is a return to form, right? The episodic nature that we had in the first season that I think a lot of people seemingly want to run back to. Overall, I enjoyed the season, but it is very much different than anything we had before. But it kind of makes sense because I almost feel like we wrapped up too many narrative threads in season 2.
Yeah, we really raced to a lot of we gotta finish it. We gotta finish it.
So because of that, without having like a stated thesis as a goal, it was seemed easy, for some people to get lost. I mean, before the season started, they were like, "Hey, our goal is to retake Mandalore," and then Grogu came back in the Book of Boba Fett, and at that point, Din's goal changed to, "Okay, he chose me. I'm gonna raise his kid as a Mandalorian." Which is why the very first episode, he's teaching Grogu about like Mandalorian and the systems and their philosophies and all stuff, which he never talked about before. He was accepting that role. So like the whole season is those two plots. I'm raising this kid to be a Mandalorian, and we're retaking our home. So it was like, I felt it was the strongest narrative of any single season, but I feel like that is different than what the value promise was of the show originally.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think it was framed weird. Also, stop saying that Moff Gideon is a clone because he doesn't have a mustache. That is so weak. And I hate it. I hate it so much.
All I want to know is why did Moff Gideon pull a Jimmy Butler and go to press day with facial hair, and then when it came to filming, there was no facial hair? Like, what happened?
Listen, if their communicators, if their comms are literal razors, I'm pretty sure there's like in-universe razors too. Like you can shave.
Also, is the clones unable to grow mustaches? Is there?
Was they left that out?
That was the last customization slot. Like you can have the Force or a mustache.
That was it. We don't know.
And they before that, they always chose the mustache.
Like you can have the Force or a mustache, and some of them would have to think about it though. That's the thing. They'd be like, I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm gonna have to go back and forth.
Have you seen me with a mustache? I don't know, man. I think that might be more powerful. To be honest.
Yeah. Like I will say there was such a weird moment for me when in the finale, he's given his big speech. Maybe it was the second last episode, but whenever he's speechifying, I gotta say, not as impactful without the mustache. Like still good, but I'm like, there is something missing a little in the gravitas. You
can't have a mustache and that suit of armor. You can't have both.
You know what? That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I agree. I think this season is so odd because I think there was a lot more straight narrative ideas in it, right? But then we would go and have like the Lizzo episode where it completely abandoned the narrative. And then, by the way, Moff Gideon escaped, and it was amazing. And I'm like, that'd have been cool to see. I think would have been fun. I mean, I guess not. We don't have to see how that happened. And then at the end, I think they really raced through a lot, like you said. I do like the execution of the last episode. I think comparatively, I think the action sequences were filmed very well. Like, I mean, Bo-Katan charging with the Darksaber in front of her and the armor using the jetpack to slam people with hammers. Like, that's great. That's some epic Mandalorian kick-assery, you know?
I'm a Titan main on Destiny 2, and so that hit a very special spot for me.
That's you.
Yeah, the armor
That's
using her tools to absolutely decimate these what troopers were these called? What are they called? They're not dark.
Technically they were like, it was Dark Trooper armor. I don't know. They were playing fast and loose with some stuff.
They're fakes. They're fake Empire-esque Mandalorians. Anyways, I thought that was great. I thought that was one of the. But I also found out that Mandalorian jetpack fuel lasts forever. It lasts forever. They can do whatever they want.
They upgraded it. They upgraded it.
That's why I thought his name was a spy. It was like he's taking off, and I was like, "What is he gonna hit exit velocity?" Like,
he had gas. That's the thing. If you're a spy, you actually get all the gasoline that you need to fly up through the atmosphere.
You know how hot he would have gotten too? Like his armor would have melted. But
oh yeah,
you know. But all that to say, I think out of at least out of the Living Force crew, I think I enjoyed the season the most, and I still feel the same at the end. Like I had a really fun time. There's definitely like, I get all the points that people make to why things didn't work for them. Like absolutely I do, but I just still always had fun when I sat down and watched it. And that's really what I care about the most. The one thing I will say that I really hope they don't move to too much is using the Mandalorian to just always be the stepping stone to the next thing, right? To introduce this character and this idea, but eventually it's all building to, you know, the movie that they're doing, all of that. Like, I still just want some time with the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? I still want that story. So I don't know. I don't want it to just be a springboard. This season in a lot of ways felt like a Bo-Katan story, almost a little bit more than like a Mandalorian or like, you know, a Din story, I should say. And I still want to focus on Din because I still think, you know, it's a really fun character and there's a lot left to explore because just like you were saying, Brandon, he still hasn't really explained all that much about what it means to be a Mandalorian. And if you take out all the stuff from the expanded universe, like, you know, all the books and things that go into that lore, there's not a whole lot in canon. So to see that represented on screen, even to a further degree, I think would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I'm also okay with us getting a little bit of time before season 4 happens. You know, I think that there was really a lot of time between seasons 2 and 3, and we got to see a lot of other shows. Like, I want to see Ahsoka, I want to see Acolyte, I want to go Andor season 2. Oh God, Andor season 2.
I
I just want to Bix again. I'm sorry.
No. Oh yeah. Welcome to Bix Talk. Sorry, everybody. Bye, Cal. We're talking about Bix today.
If you want to go there, we'll go there. No, but the one thing, if anyone walked away from the finale of The Mandalorian and you didn't feel great about it, get online, look up where they redid the ending. And they played, instead of the normal soundtrack, they played Two Worlds from the Tarzan soundtrack by Phil Collins, and you will feel differently. I guarantee
it's such
you. It's
a good
phenomenal.
clip.
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
Well.
Are you serious?
It fits so well.
Yeah. 2 worlds, 1 family.
While they're all hitting their gauntlets.
It's incredible. It's great. So yeah, we'll see how we go from here. You know, I apparently season 4 has been written, according to some folks, but we've all known what some folks have told us. We've also heard that Kevin Feige is producing a Star Wars thing. You know, like, some folks say a lot of things, so we'll find out going forward. But I think it'll be interesting to go back and revisit this one and see kind of how it hits. But I think that we're gonna get a lot of really cool, different shows. And Brandon, like you were saying, if the Mando wants to now take the seat, instead of being necessarily like the narrative push in all of TV Star Wars, or they want to go back to the here's the mission of the week. Here's the what did Carson Teva call him, like infiltrator or the independent contractor, like whatever. If we want to go to that, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So we'll see.
That's what I want. There's a Legends book, Scoundrels, and it's just like
Yes!
a heist book.
Love
Yes!
that book. Yes.
Love that book.
That's
Great
what
twist.
that's what we need. That's what we need
Yes.
is Din and Grogu, and they have to get a different crew together each week to go after each of those Moffs that we saw on the Shadow Council, and they have to figure out,
Yes.
okay, what's our end? Who do we need? How do we
Yep.
approach this? That's what I want.
That'd be
And
fun.
yes, that book had the
So-
ending. Oh my god!
I remember
was
where
like,
I was. That's like one of those moments. I remember where I was sitting. I was like in Alabama on a show, and I was sitting in a person's house I was staying at on their living room couch, and I read that, and I was like, "What?"
It's two different books now. You read one book,
It is.
and the
Right.
second time it's a totally different book.
And
Shout
the
out to
cover.
Scoundrels.
Shout out to the cover with the mug shots
Oh, that's
too.
great. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we need
For
more
the
heists
lineup,
in Star
there's the
Wars.
lineup, Yeah.
But you know what else we need in Star Wars? More story-driven video games and natural segues, because everyone, Jedi Survivor is almost here. This Friday, April 28th, Jedi Survivor is coming out. Choco rocking the Cal Kestis saber.
Oh, hands
Absolutely,
up.
yes, sir.
Yeah, they actually gave these
gorgeous.
to us at the end of the
What?
event.
What?
Okay,
Bro, the event
The
was
event
wild.
wasn't
Oh
enough.
my God, I
I don't
cried.
even know how I got such a privilege, but like
yeah.
it was dope.
Oh,
Okay, let's
dude.
okay, so we're starting there. So Brandon, you for those that may not know, there was this wonderful event for like basically like a pre-launch party for Jedi Survivor, where a bunch of amazing folks got invited to go do stuff with the game, you among them. So if you'd be so kind, take us through what that was like, about getting the invitation, finding out you were gonna go, like what was the night like what was it like being one of the elite few to go and touch Jedi Survivor before the rest of us?
Listen, I'm there with people who are like making buku bucks from making content, and I'm just like, yeah,
All the shills that are really getting the
Touch
Disney
me,
checks.
ways.
Yeah.
I make TikToks though. That's cool. No, it's it was so much fun though. They brought us out to LA. We got to stay in in a nice hotel, which makes it easy for like everyone to stay together and for us to be able to access the event.
That's cool.
Um,
That's cool.
I got to go to Galaxy's Edge for the first time, so that was a lot of fun.
It's the best.
I will be going back there because I didn't get to make a lightsaber or anything like that. I was saving that experience for
Sure,
No,
yeah.
One day is not enough. We've all
No,
figured
no.
that out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, like so once we get out there, we go to the event, and we're gonna get 4 hours to play this game. And they're like, and if you want to interview some people on the staff and all this stuff, and I was like, no, it's go time. And I like I was grinding it for that entire 4 hours. Let's see how far into this story we can get. We can see if and it was like a closed demo where our demo did have an end, but like that 4 hours, and it started a full hour into the game.
Oh, sweet.
And it was still nowhere near anything. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
we found out who the guy was that was in the tank, but it didn't go beyond that. Now, full disclosure, I am allowed to say as of today that I did receive an early copy, so I have played and beaten the game now, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I mean, follow me on other things because I will be able to actually give reviews on it starting Wednesday. So I'll be
Awesome.
limited. So what I will talk about now will basically be as of that event, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No embargo breaking, we're all good.
Yeah. Also, I will never spoil anything because I will say y'all will want to play this game and get to the certain story parts unspoiled. It'll make a huge difference to you. They really leaned into lore and storytelling on this one.
Do y'all remember, audience, when I said I was taking the day off? I was right. Everyone doubted me. Not everyone, that's not true. But for dramatic effect, everyone doubted me and said, don't waste your days off. It's not a waste because, as Brandon said, I will be able to experience it fully. And I'm very excited.
So for those of us that ordered the deluxe edition, how much of a health boost and power increase does that give us to beat this game quicker?
Just God mode. Just flip that.
Oh, sweet!
No, actually, one of the really cool things about this is, this game is clearly Soulsborne inspired, right? It's like, you take a little bit of, the Soulsborne type, and then it's a little Uncharted, and then mix it with some Castlevania type level building, Metrovania.
It's a good smoothie.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But then this game, they really leaned into the accessibility, which I think is really cool, because Soulsborne games, they throw you in. You're like, if you can't do this, then like F you. And you're like,
Be good, kid.
Yeah, keep trying. It's like 13, 14, 15,000 times. 3 controllers in because you've broken the last 2. And then you can finally make that jump.
Here's the tree sentinel. Good luck. Yeah, no.
But if you do want to play like that, you can. And after you beat it, there is an additional harder mode that is
Oh, sweet.
that kind of reminds me of Jedi Academy. I don't know if you guys remember how in that game it was like real, like you might open a door, get shot with a disruptor, and just disintegrate, and then you forgot to save, and you're just like,
I just opened the door. That's it. That's not fair.
Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that.
So they are going to have hardcore modes where, like, depending on what weapon, it's 1 to 3 hits, and you're going down.
Wow.
Or on the other side, again, they want every Star Wars fan to be able to experience this story. So if you have, certain needs, you can set it up so that when combat starts, it's in slow motion. There's an arachnophobia mode because certain people can't handle
about this. Yeah.
What?
So it makes them look less like spiders. I haven't seen that in action yet, but we'll be
I thought of
I'll make a
everything.
video on that when we
Where
get it.
was that for Hogwarts Legacy? My goodness.
You can yeah, it's cool. And oh my goodness, they took all the things that I really loved in the first game, they kept those and amplified them, and then the things that I didn't like, they kind of smooth out those rough edges. So traversal, so much better. There's so many times where I don't know if you were like me, where you want to be a completionist and you're like, oh man, there is 1 crate on the Zepho.
Don't say
in the
Zepho.
middle
Don't say
of that
Zepho.
underground
take us
cave.
back.
We forgot
there,
to tell you
Brandon.
before you came on. Do not talk about Zepho.
Some of us
The
are
memories.
still there.
The
Brandon.
memories.
Some of us never left Zepho.
Legend said he's still on Zephone, even to this day.
Well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
So you
Completionist
can get around a lot better, and there's fast travel between the meditation points.
Oh.
That's awesome.
It's just these kind of things that I'm like, good. Like they hurt so much in the first game not having, but I think like for those of us, you want to play 8, 9, 12 hours in a row. Like these little things are gonna make you want to keep playing and not stop when you get to Zepho, or you get to like, I tried to play Fallen Order for fun, to be like, oh, I'll do it again. I haven't done it in a couple years, and I legit got to Zepho, and I'm like, nah, I can't. I can't do it.
I tried to beat Ogdo Bogdo without like actually getting any kind of skills. It's very difficult.
Okay, what is up with Ogdo Bogdo though? I swear to God, he's as hard as anything else in the game.
What artist? He's the
He's
hardest.
not hard. He just wins, and you're like,
They put
I
you
know
in
what
such a
you're gonna
small
do.
space to beat
Yep.
this fat frog that you can't move
Yeah.
around. You can't do your dodges. So I mean,
It sounds like a bet they had. Like, hey guys, here's the thing. We're gonna make this frog. It'd be the hardest thing in the world. A frog? Yeah. What's his name? Ogdo Bogdo. Huh?
yeah.
It's like an inner joke, and they never went back and fixed it.
And he'll be
Like, oh, crap.
be like second to last level. No. Level 1. Put him on level 1.
Intro. Cool. So one of the things I want to ask you here, Brandon, as far as, again, just event wise, right? When people start to play this game, obviously all the quality of life stuff, the fast travel, the expansion is going to be huge. What is the one thing when you sat down to play it that you were like, oh wow, I knew they were going to improve this stuff, but this is like a whole new ball game? Because I know you had, we were talking off air, you had like some reservations about Fallen Order that you wanted to get fixed. But what was the biggest thing where you realized, oh, I'm in this for the long haul?
Oh man. As far as that's concerned, I mean, I love the puzzles, I love the dungeons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're not really getting, what was Zepho? The Zepho. They were actually in this one High Republic temples and things like that. They're like they're this leans into High Republic. You don't have to have read anything, but
right.
They're just fun. Like just the puzzles there are just really fun to do, and the way it weaves it doesn't weave them directly into the story, so you don't have to complete all of these things, and that's kind of the open world nature of this game. Right. The last one was kind of linear, which is why I struggled to play through it again, because I remember if I can go through here, this happens, and and it screws up my brain because I remember where things are. In this game, it's not like that. It's kind of open world with set pieces on it.
Oh, okay, sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And so, you can come back to it and hit all of these things separately. And there's, it's just I don't know. It just sucks you in, just sucks me into the world.
I'm so excited about it. And now Charles and Wes, for us plebeians who have not played the game, who didn't get to go smell Cameron Monaghan. Well, I am going to ask you that in a second. What are you guys most stoked for about Survivor this week? Also, what system are you guys going to play it on? And when are you planning on playing it? Because I'm going PS5, midnight on Friday, preload, all that jazz. And yes, I paid the $10 for the Luke jacket because I want it. Shut up. It's cool. And I'll use it for 5 minutes and never use it again. But yeah, what are you guys most excited about? How are you going to play it?
Okay, so I'm most excited about what you just said, Darth Choco, Brandon. The open world nature of this. I wanted Jedi Fallen Order to be an open world, almost like not exactly like a Cyberpunk or like GTA or something like that. But anyway, you can go wherever you want to go.
All the nudity, all the profanity. Just
you can rip people out of speeders, throw them down into holes. But I kind of want it to be more free, so where if there's DLC content later on, there's like quests and stuff you can go do to help get even like more, like whether it be costumes, whether it be lightsabers, or you can build new lightsabers, maybe droids, something like that. But I will be playing this on PC. High five over there to my right.
Yes.
And
it's mirrored. It's mirrored.
But I will be playing this on controller. I am horrid on controller. I used to be really good in Xbox. That's it. Just the original Xbox. Not like one.
Hell yeah. Did you have the Duke? Did you have the Duke controller?
I had the Duke. I love the Duke. I still have the Duke.
The Duke is the worst thing ever. I just remember playing Halo 1, and then you have to turn on the light, and you're like, I'm like 8. I can't reach that button.
White button, because it was a flashlight.
Yeah. You had to push it with your lip. You have to,
Bro, I never switched off of the Duke until the 360 made me. I had the Duke all the way through. I never got when they made it small. I'm like, no, this is how you play. And I was terrible on the 360 for 2 months.
When was it nicknamed the Duke to begin with? Because I know it wasn't called that when it came out. No, it was just a controller.
Retroactive. Yeah, the controller.
Anyways. So yeah, I'll be playing it on PC.
Was as big as the PlayStation. I always thought that was weird.
Almost as heavy.
So Wes will be playing this with a retrofitted Duke controller.
I wish.
On PC.
And I'll be playing it on Friday. I'll be playing on Friday after work. I swear I'll play it after work. I'm
Oh.
home on Friday, but I swear I'll be playing it after work.
See, I screwed up that my work from home job requires me to be on the phone all day.
Confidential.
Why did I do that? Why did I do that? All right, solid. Charles, what about you?
I'm gonna also be playing this after work on Friday. I don't think my patients would appreciate me playing the game while they're actually trying to tell me about their problems.
I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah,
Play in the lobby.
Right, I feel good about it.
Like they used to have that in the lobby whenever I went in for my like checkups and stuff. They had like the Nintendo out there.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. That is true. But no, I'm gonna be playing this on console as well. I've been all about the PlayStation recently. Eric, you know this.
Yeah, yeah.
I've played through the Spider-Man games, the first one, Miles Morales. Freaking loved every second of it. I got
they're
Hogwarts
perfect.
Legacy on PlayStation. So I've been like Team PlayStation, but the problem is 2 of my childhood best friends are still on the box. And so I'm going to be getting this on Xbox because I have not been talking to them enough. So I'm going to be talking to them while I'm playing through this game. So
Okay, I was
Xbox
gonna
it is
say-
for me.
I was gonna say, Charles, guys, do we tell them it's not multiplayer? Do we tell? Okay, but no, I got you. Party
No,
chat. I
just
got
to
you. I
chat,
feel you.
just to chat.
All right. No, that's fair. It's so weird. I've been an Xbox guy again since those Duke days. OG Xbox never owned a PlayStation until the PS5, but I can't go back. I can't go back. I love that controller. It's so sweet. But I did play Fallen Order on the Xbox, so wielding the lightsaber with a different controller is going to be interesting. But Charles, what are you most excited about in the game itself? So we know how you're doing it.
I mean, easily, I think seeing Cal and Marin together. I mean, from the trailers,
Those
right,
thighs,
those thighs, the finishing moves. I mean, the team
Yeah,
combat
for real,
and
yeah.
how it looked so cool. And
Yeah.
you know, like we talked about earlier, Marin's in so little of the first game. But
Right.
then we went and we read this book and we got a lot of Marin. We got a lot of Marin. And
Most of Marin, actually.
most
I
of
would
Marin.
say.
And so I'm excited to kind of pick up where it left off and see where that dynamic is after Battle Scars. I mean, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I want those finishing moves because those are awesome. And I can't wait to see all the different ones that they have. But I actually just want to get more of the story between Cal and Marin and the whole crew.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I got really brought into Fallen Order near the end. I didn't have that like and Brandon, I know you'll get this because I saw you tweeted a couple days ago, that like Mass Effect party level love. Like I literally named my dog Morden because I love those characters so much. And
He's a
I like
scientist Solarian, yeah.
exactly. Someone else might have gotten it wrong, man. But like I think that that crew really coalesced at the end, and I'm excited for them to already be there at the top. To be like, okay, now I don't have to meet them again. I don't have to another meet cute. We do have the new dude that does the flips with the gun. Brandon, what's his name?
Bode. His name is
Bode, thank you.
Bode Akuna.
Bode, yeah.
Kinda
Who
cool.
is
I like that.
yeah, and he's mocapped and voiced by one of the guys from Horizon who played Katalo. For any Horizon Forbidden West fans out there. Yeah, I really am excited to see how the gameplay evolves. And one of the things you mentioned Castlevanias or Metroidvanias and stuff earlier, Brandon, that they do a lot is like, you know, you play the next game and oh no, I somehow lost all my powers. Let me go get them all back. And I was really intrigued by you and all the folks at the event were like, oh yeah, Cal is like a Jedi. Like you're not starting again like, oh no, I forgot how to force push. You know? And I think Yeah, right. Can you imagine? Oh no, I need to do more flashbacks to remember how to pull a rope. Like, and I think it's been a hot minute really since we've gotten I am a full-on Jedi game. You know, and I like. I mean,
probably.
Yeah, I mean, really to that level. Other than when Anakin got added to Battlefront 2 and just they never nerfed him. That was a great time.
The full choke, like
the full.
And they got everybody just. Just killed everybody instantly. It was fantastic.
I loved that. But I'm
Except
excited.
Boba, because Boba players don't play the game.
I hate
cheaters.
Seriously.
He's another. Except when I play him, then I get killed in 5 seconds. But that's another
His
podcast.
health,
another
he
podcast.
has too little health. Anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But as we're getting, again, as the day keeps creeping in, and Brandon, you said, there's so much lore and there's so much story that's involved in it. For you, again, having finished the game, no spoilers for any of it, does what this game, let me see, how would I phrase this? Does how this game approaches story and lore give you different expectations now for the future of Star Wars games? Because we've heard about more story games coming out. Like, there's that Respawn FPS that might be like single player. There's some tactic stuff. Like, do you see this now becoming a trend potentially with really getting a lot of like book lore and stuff into games?
I mean, I'd say it does feel like it's the same. I mean, it's the same story group.
Sure. Right.
Like
Absolutely.
it feels like it's the heavily involved story group saying, what do you like to tell? When are you telling it? Right. This is, 5 years later, right? So this is happening roughly the same time as the Obi-Wan show. What else is happening? And it's being given the same level of care. I love the expanding universe. Lucasfilm did not care about the expanding universe.
What?
And
Oh, Darth Vader's always had a secret apprentice. What are you talking about? Who cares? Yeah, it's fun.
But now there's things that you can feel the love. You can feel the love for sure.
I think that's really, we don't talk a lot about the Legends to Canon split moment, because a lot of people that went through it still have really hard effects about it, and it's totally understandable to an extent. But I think that's one of the things that all book fans, all comics fans, all of us have just wanted, very simply, is the love and the respect of the franchise. And we're seeing it more and more. Like, every new reference book we get, I'm always amazed that there's like pictures of Keeve Trennis next to pictures of Rey. Like, we're like, oh no, like you said, it's all the same story group and it is all the same world. Like, Timelines doesn't have, here's the film timelines and here's the book timelines. This is Star Wars, and it just happens. And I think when we all saw what that single frame of the High Republic Jedi from the Survivor trailer where someone frees it and looked at the belt and we're like, oh my God, like that was the moment. It's like, oh, you love us and love the thing that we love. Like, you've also read Rising Storm and now you're making a game. Like, there's something really cool about that acknowledgement. And the crossguard lightsaber is not only a Kylo Ren style, it's a Stellan Geo style. And yeah, this one,
That's the one.
I mean,
A
it just could be
fraction
a
of a second.
coincidence. It's a coincidence, guys. I mean, come on. That looks nothing
that's
like
true.
the High Republic whatsoever.
it's clearly a Jedi
it's
saber.
it's very much a
just
darker
regular
gold. I mean,
Yep, you're right.
getting your hopes up.
Yeah, manage the expectations. Manage expectations. That's why my day off of work, because I manage my expectations into this game. But
and then also, just real quick, having
yeah,
more ways to approach your combat.
Yeah,
but
speak on that.
have the game not lock you out because you have picked this and not this is something that's really cool, because like it's not like, oh, you have to be using this stance in order to access this, or because the last game kind of felt like that.
Yeah,
This game,
absolutely.
there's 5 styles. You can only equip 2 at a time, and so
fascinating. Okay.
You run to a situation. What you got is what you got. If you
Yeah.
didn't put your eggs in that basket, maybe this encounter you would have really benefited for having a dual lightsaber. And
Yep.
you
Kid.
just don't.
Yeah.
I honestly never swapped though, because I had the blaster stance and the crossguard stance. That's all I used the entire game. So
Epic.
that's just me.
Nice. Okay, so it's like the early days of the UFC. Everybody had a specific skill, but everybody lost to jiu-jitsu. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to jump on that before you did. Yeah, that's what it was.
Is the Gracie family in the Jedi Survivor game? I hope not. Okay.
Well, that's gonna be interesting playing it, tactically that way too, because I feel like I'm also that kind of gamer that's like, I always have the idea that I'm gonna try everything, but you're so right. I get the thing I like, because I'm gonna find the hairstyle, I'm gonna find a jacket, I'm and be like, oh, I'll try every new collectible for 5 minutes, and I'm always gonna go back to the thing that I like. Now, Brandon, did you play? Were you a Ghost of Tsushima fan?
Yes, although I never
Okay.
finished it.
Amazing game. Obviously,
Amazing game. Again, that was during my switch from console
right
to PC.
to PC. Fair. But that was always one I thought of when the stances first got announced, because that game is very dependent on stances. So it's kind of cool to hear that this is going to be more of a pick your flavor, pick your poison. And to your point earlier about accessibility, it's going to be, hey, what stance do you feel best as, and what difficulty do you feel best on? What JG mentioned it way earlier in the chat, like what if you're colorblind or have certain sensitivities, like you can adjust so many things to make this your Star Wars adventure. And I think that's something we've always preached on this show. For books and comics, like if there's something that doesn't really hit with you, it probably hits with somebody else. And it's fun to see the game saying, hey, if this style
Like
of
Lords of the
playing
Sith.
exactly.
I hate that book. I'm sorry.
You hate the Revenge of the Sith book?
Lords of the Sith.
Lords
Oh
of the
God, I was gonna say, wait a
Very
minute.
different.
I
Very
invited
different.
you into my home. Yeah, no, Lords of the Sith.
You drank from my cup, ate from my plate. Okay.
The problem with Lords of the Sith is that it's not really about the Sith Lords, but that's another podcast. It's a Shamson Dula
If
book.
I wanted to watch Palpatine like kill bugs for like half an hour, like I don't know, man. I don't know.
He does. He literally just kill a bunch of bugs. But if
Guess
you
I
turn on
won't read
arachnophobic mode, it'd be better. Because then they'd look different. Yeah, JG, sorry. Eric almost died. I saw his soul left his body. Yeah, I was not prepared for that moment.
No, we don't speak ill of Matthew Stover in this household. Okay.
Absolutely, because he's a god among men, a lord among Sith, as it were. Oh gosh, but yeah, I think like overall, it's so fun to have this kind of release fervor, because we haven't gotten as many games as we used to. And I am one of those people that does say kind of, I don't hate it. I want more games. But we got to remember some of the games that we used to get. Okay,
Yeah.
we some of those wouldn't exactly fly
And
at this moment.
it does
You know,
take.
Just don't speak ill of Masters of Terrakasi. I could go pro at that game. That game
I would
is
never.
elite.
And it does take a little while for us to say a AAA studio to make a decent game when
Yes.
people will not come after you if there's a glitch in the first like 10 minutes of the game where like, oh, this game is crap. Yeah, there's a glitch and there's screen tearing. It's terrible.
Day one patch.
What is
patch.
this? Yeah. So, I mean, I assume that it takes a while to put out something that's, I would say playable, but high quality. It has to be high quality, especially if you're charging $69.99.
Nice.
Do you guys think that realism in video games is holding us back?
Ooh.
'Cause I feel like now. Oh, go ahead.
I would say for my play style, no, only because the games I'm obsessed with lately are getting that level of realism. Like I love walking through video games and seeing the water and stopping and being like, ooh. Wow, that's water. And like when I like playing the Horizons, the Ghost of Tsushimas, the Spider-Mans, like this building, I can see the stone on it. I can see the dust on the path. I can see where my footprints were. Like Red Dead 2. I mean, my God, just pick your poison and on that stuff. I like that, but I can see the point of like we are taking slightly less risk in the big AAA game space. That the indie space is seeing a lot. But I think that could be a good point.
I mean, someone on Red Dead probably spent like, a few days a week animating, like putting a saddle on a horse, and you're like, I don't need to see that. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Do it. Yeah.
I don't. That's how I feel, because the older days, like you kind of said, we were just kind of throwing spaghetti at the walls. Certain games were awesome. Certain games, weren't. Jedi Power Battles was an amazing game, but it had the worst camera of any video game.
Oh my
of all time.
God.
But it was still fun. I think
Yeah.
now the life cycle of these games has to be. It used to be like 1 to 3 years, and then now it's like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, right.
It's long for sure.
Yeah. Like Wes is gonna die someday because he's old. And then you're not gonna get.
I need them sooner. I have to play them all.
I know, that's the problem. Yeah, the development cycles are interesting because again, like what you said, Wes, like there is a standard, which I do think is overall, if people are nice about it, people on the internet, about like development cycles and delays, like we do see this a lot more because I also think we're trying to get out of the crunch model that was really plaguing games for the last decade. Of these games were coming faster, but people were killing themselves. So I think we're kind of finding that middle ground here.
And it's tough to have a game as basically only a beta where you don't have to commit to anything. Like Escape from Tarkov or Star Citizen, they've been beta for a decade. Like,
what does beta mean now?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything now. Like, you can put in your complaints all day long when they're just tweaking it here and there, but when is the actual game going to be complete? It never is.
Yeah.
It's never going to be complete, which is it's a tactic that they still charge money for it. It's a beta. It doesn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense.
It's weird. These things go back and forth because, like, on one side there is that of like this never-ending crunch and trying to push your developers until they're like having mental health crises.
Yeah.
Right, which we don't like.
But then, like on the other hand, like in that programming world, we have the Mythical Man Month, where like everyone needs to understand you can't just throw more people or more money at a project and expect it to be done faster or better.
Right.
Like it doesn't work that way.
Yep.
If you can't take 9 women and have them make a baby in 1 month, right? You can't divvy up that work. It just doesn't work.
Charles, can you verify that medically?
Can confirm. Yeah.
Okay, great.
you keep and people are like just throw more programmers at it, right? And then now you have to hire a guy to wrangle all the programmers, and that takes even longer.
Yeah.
Like I don't
And
know.
another HR person to hear the complaints of the other 9 programmers.
Yeah. And I think we're really getting to a nice point lately of like people talking about studios they like working for, and the products are getting good and they're taking time. And I think we're gonna find this balance now in Star Wars games, especially. If we're getting all these games, we're like, it seems like sometimes EA is paying a check for other people to do stuff. Then the EA license goes away and we're getting other studios. Like, I'm going to be really interested to see the rollout of, do we go AAA and AA and indie? Like, do Star Wars games go back to that thing of maybe we get like is there a cozy gamer Star Wars game that comes out? Is there going to be, another multiplayer FPS? Like, I played Battlefront 2 with Emma on Utini-thon this weekend, and it was great. But I'm also like, that game, which I actually really like, I still like Battlefront 2017, is like 6 years old.
Yeah.
So let's look, what's next? What is going to keep us going? Are we going to get an Apex Fortnite clone or something? But I think this week is going to really show.
Stardew Valley clone. Give me that.
Yeah. Oh my God. It'd be amazing. And then there's a 1 in 100 chance every day that the Death Star blows you up. That'd be fun. Oh no, I had to build it again. I don't feel good about that. I just thought about that, and they're all cute, and that'd be so sad. Alderaan Simulator. But I think this week is going to be interesting, both obviously in the sales. I mean, like we said, Hogwarts Legacy set a real high bar for IP video games this year as far as sales goes. So are people ready for good IP AAA games? We'll see. If it sells better than Fallen Order did, that'll tell us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope overall that the community, one, be nice. Everyone listen to this. I think you will, but remember, be nice. Don't spoil things. And if this is gonna bring more lore, I think we're gonna get people like the people that watch your channel, like people that watch Star Wars Explained, like that want the lore and the story. They're gonna find themselves going into the gaming medium even more. And I think that's going to be really exciting to kind of open up in a way that we really haven't seen. We really haven't seen a new canon, honestly.
Yeah,
and I'm very excited.
It'd be nice to get those little pieces of content within the video game that will help us in a canon book farther on. So be like, when you're reading, you're like, oh, that's in the video game, and that's only in the video game, and I got that kind of information. That makes it so much better that you played.
Yeah, and one of Charles's Easter eggs in the future will be like, in the video game Jedi Survivor, blankety blank. Like, that's going to start being canon now. Are you ready for those Easter eggs, Charles, to pull all those from Jedi Survivor? You got to play it for work, it's your job now.
It's true.
Yeah, maybe I should write in, to my clinic and ask them if I can have a week off. That sounds pretty good.
That's all I'm saying. It's that easy. But as we get ready for our, I said week off, now week of work, but towards Jedi Survivor, I want to wrap up here with a couple easy questions here. Brandon, I want to hit you first. Obviously, played through the game. Everyone, stay tuned for all Brandon's coverage on Darth Choco everywhere for all your Jedi Survivor needs. If you had one last thing to entice folks more about Jedi Survivor, or one of your favorite memories of playing it or the event or anything so far, what would it be?
Well, I want to talk about the after event real quick.
Yes,
right? Because
please do.
First we go to the event, and it makes sense now why they were like, don't tell anyone that you're down here, because people would have mobbed. There's random people on the street like, where are you guys getting those boxes? And we're like, just don't worry about it, man.
Be chill.
I have to know.
But we afterwards, there was like a party event that was like catered. They had the drinks and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And we just got to go there, hang out, and that's where Cameron Monaghan came out. It was
so
just
cool.
hanging out, talking to people, and there was this whole big crowd. They were kind of like in an oval, and with him at the top, and everyone was trying to get to him, and I had to get in there and out real quick because people were mad at me, because I was like, "What the hell's everyone doing?" I just walked around and
Just cut everybody.
just walked around. I was like, "Hey, man!" And he turned around. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I talked to him, got a quick picture, and I'm like, people were staring daggers at me, and I was like, "All right, well."
No.
I waited in line like I was supposed to.
Then I
and is
pulled
his
the
awesome?
Zoidberg and just like
Yeah.
slipped back into the night. Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever. I mean, the stories about him are great. The celebration coverage obviously seems nice. Was he just as nice and giving and fun as we all hopefully assume he is?
He was a bright spot, like
Yeah. Yeah.
like on the Chappelle show, like he kind of had that aura around him.
Yes.
He seems like a really cool guy. Could have just been turning it on for that. But what I've noticed is lately, especially with all the people I've met through TikTok and all this,
Mhm.
everyone is exactly who they are here, and it's just been, I know, it's just been wonderful and super positive. Everything in person has been amazing and really positive. And it's only when people get to hide behind a screen or a non-username that they're dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's yeah. And again, like you being the Titan that is Destiny in real life, being the Titan that has to deal with comments on TikTok. Comments are a very special hive of scum and villainy. So props to you for deflecting them. But yeah, it does seem like every real life thing with people that are actually there to enjoy the product and have a good time and not chill, but really just have fun with the amazing things that are being created is so positive and enlightening. And I'm again, there's obvious jealousy that you got to go, but I'm so stoked that you got to experience that kind of thing because it's just so
y'all can interview
cool.
a lot more writers and stuff like that.
Hey, give and take, baby, give and take. We all have our thing. You maybe one of them will give us a lightsaber someday. That'd be pretty cool. I'd happily accept a High Republic saber.
Although
yeah,
Hasbro did give me a dark saber recently, so that was cool.
Yeah, you're good. You're fine. You're fine. You're doing good. You're doing good. Wes, what about you, buddy? Any last things that you are like? Dude, I will give you my address. Just forward it. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna run out of space, and I care about you.
Yeah, I just want to play with it for the afternoon. I'll send it back.
Is that like a Sisterhood of the Traveling Helmet? Just like make it go around. Oh, God, it smells terrible.
Okay, so I'm gonna take Charles's prediction because I know what he's thinking. Does Cal Kestis in some way, shape, or form meet up with Obi-Wan Kenobi?
That'd be cool. Charles, how you doing?
Look at that
Brandon
poker face.
Look
Look at that poker face.
I
Muscle
didn't
twitch.
That was
Nothing is gonna-
amazing.
Nothing. Just a single bead of sweat went down the side of his head. No, just kidding.
Well, that's why you got the red on your shirt, so the laser sight from the Lucasfilm sniper rifle doesn't show up on camera. I get it. That'd be cool. I mean, hey, we got Saw Gerrera in Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Well, because Forrest Whitaker is also legally required to be in every genre of Star Wars media that exists. Cash those checks, buddy. Cash those checks. I love it. All right, Charles. That was stolen from you brazenly by Wes. What's your prediction or most hype bit that we haven't talked about yet?
I don't want to predict too much because I'm trying to manage expectations. Thanks, Wes. No, I can't do that. But
other than that,
I am just really excited about the High Republic stuff that does make it into this game because I mean I like what you said, Brandon, about how you don't have to have read all these books because that's, just making a higher barrier to entry. And that's not the point of all this. We want as many people to enjoy these stories as possible. But for those of us that have been really enjoying it, it feels like it legitimizes those efforts a little bit. You know what I mean? To put in that time to have those conversations, and we enjoy them for what they are. We're not doing it because we have to know every little thing that comes next, but it's fun to kind of get the wink and the nod from the creators and say, hey, we appreciate you supporting that other thing. And there's a point to all of it. So the more High Republic stuff there is, probably the happier I'm going to be, the more I'm going to enjoy it. And it sounds like I'm going to be spending a lot of time in these temples that will not progress the story whatsoever, but that's fine.
Where do they want me to jump? Where do I jump? I just don't. There's always one of those I got to YouTube look up every game, and I'm in no shame.
I'm working on those guides already. So,
yes.
When people need them. By the way, it's lonely playing a game that's not out yet because there are no guides. You don't know where things are. There's a whole section that I just can't figure out. How do I get in here? I'm still
IGN.
Yeah.
Where are you? Yeah. I feel that when I'm advanced reading a book and I gotta know what a character is, and if I've seen them before and I Google them and they're not on the Wikipedia yet, and I'm like, no, I don't know what to do.
Oh, the walkthroughs that came with the gamer magazines that you would have.
Yeah,
you'd have to purchase. They were like, I mean, it was like, I don't know, $16, but $16 felt like $100 to me back then. Because
it was
$16. How am I ever going to afford this?
One game.
Although back in those days, like beating a video game was never like a given. Games you were just never gonna beat.
Nope,
we'll never beat this game. We'll never see the end.
I remember I was playing Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. And I had to get the Prima guide because depending on where you were in the game, you had to be either in the future or the past, and you had to go back to this room and switch the time period. And if you weren't in the right one for whatever puzzle you were in, you just couldn't go anywhere. And you couldn't figure it out until you had to, but you couldn't know that. But the guide told you exactly where to go. Oh, my North Star, my Pole Star. It was my Stellan Geos. On that, I am also very excited about any High Republic mentions. My managing expectations breaker is getting any kind of holograms of voiced High Republic characters that we know about. So we've seen the Avar Chris holocron in the comics. If they cast a mocap actor to play one of them, that would be cool. But mostly for me, I'm really excited to explore the planets. I think going to Dathomir and Ilum in Fallen Order was so awesome. We know we have Coruscant in the new one. Walking around Coruscant is just always so cool. Especially now having seen it lately in Andor and in Mando, being like, right, I do love Coruscant. This planet rocks. And just kind of seeing wherever the next ones are, being in the Mantis and Seer being like, oh, look, I guess we have to go to blah, blah, blah. And be like, oh my God, that's the next planet. That's always such a cool feeling. So exploring more of the galaxy, very, very easy mark. Just give me more. Rebel yell, I want more and more and more. That's what you guys.
I was trying not to do that. I was like,
nobody talks to Billy that way.
Well, everybody, let us know your thoughts on Jedi Survivor in the comments as you play, or head over to our Discord at utn.com/Discord. Again, use spoiler tags. Be very respectful. Like Brandon said, there's going to be a ton of lore that's going to be coming in this game, and you want folks to be able to experience it for the first time themselves. There are all kinds of people in the Star Wars universe and in the social galaxy that want to share this with you, and everyone uses spoiler tags. So be polite, and if nothing else, mute aggressively. All right, mute all the words that you don't want to know, because this Friday all hell breaks loose. But on that, Brandon, thank you so much for hanging with us tonight.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Brandon.
It was such a blast. Before I outro us out of here, one more time, tell the folks where they can find you everywhere. And if you got any other content, obviously you're going to be making tons of stuff. Anything you're really, really excited for coming down the pipeline, give us a little taste. Give us a little tease.
Yeah. So again, I'm Darth Choco on TikTok, Darth Choco here on YouTube, Darth Choco 7 on Twitter, Darth Choco IG, because they deleted my previous Instagram account for no reason, and I had to start over. But yeah, so there's gonna be lots of Jedi Survivor content coming out. I'm also going to be trying to go through and review and make some content on every Star Wars book I've ever read.
Whoa, yes.
So
Oh my God.
Like Legends, I'm at like 146 and pretty much all of canon. So wish me luck. But that's my
awesome.
ambitious project. But also you can catch me and my dad, Element 7. We have a podcast called Died in the Force. That's Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time here on YouTube. So yeah, check us out. We would be honored if you would join us.
Awesome.
Nice.
Absolutely will, dude. It was such a blast. I loved it. No, amazing reference. Not gonna top that. So I will only say that'll do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, thank you so much. You are the reason we're able to do this and cash all those Disney shield checks. Not true. A special thank you, very true though, to Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Carl Sander, and Zach W. on our Jedi High Council, and James T, Ashley Ingalls, Colton Fife, and Chris Carrizo on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Allerson, Charles Zetzi Hanko, Wes is at Boss West, and Brandon is at Darth Choco 7. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Charles, Wes, and Brandon for potting with me tonight. Make sure to start your pre-download now or tomorrow. And as always, may the Force be with you.